Alright guys, so for this trick, I need the spectator to go ahead and select any card from this deck. And this could be a borrowed deck, just saying, because it's a totally impromptu trick. So let's say they go ahead and touch this card. I'm not going to look, but here's the card that they touched. So please go ahead and remember this card the best that you can. All we're going to do is just give the deck some cuts, just kind of losing that card in the middle of the deck. We can go ahead and shuffle it up just a little bit more, and also we can also give it a little bit of a riffle shuffle as well, just like so, just to kind of mix up everything together. But yeah, so the card is lost in the deck. You guys can see it's not on the bottom, right? It's not the Jack of Spades, and it's also not on top. It's not the Four of Diamonds either, right? Okay, actually, it's a really good thing that it's not on top, because I really did want to try this card. I wanted to use this card for something else. So watch, if I split the deck in half like this, this area, this gray area here in the middle, kind of becomes a little bit of a portal. So watch the Four of Diamonds here. If I just throw it 1, 2, 3 through the portal, it really looks like it changes into your card, the Jack of Diamonds, doesn't it? And you guys can see that every single card here in the deck is completely normal. There's no gimmicks or double facers or anything. Oh, and you also want to check out your card, right? Yeah, well, it's a completely normal card. And this could be signed as well. So yeah, that is the trick, guys. So now for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So credit to this trick goes to Fernando P1, his YouTube channel. That is the place where I learned this from a couple of years ago, actually. And he has a lot of other tricks, so go ahead and subscribe to him if you want some more content. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna be showing you the tutorial for this really awesome and visual card trick called the portal trick. Like I said, this version that I'm teaching you today is a completely impromptu version, because normally this trick would be done with like double-sided cards or double-sided tape. You could just tape 2 cards together back to back, but this version, completely normal deck of cards and like no gimmicks whatsoever. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can do this with any deck, any place at any time. Now, if you want this trick to be impromptu, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to experiment a little bit with many different factors if you want this trick to look really, really good. So I'm going to be telling you what those factors are, and then you can just kind of play around with each of the factors, and when you find the perfect combination of them, then that's how you're going to want to perform this trick. So basically, before I tell you like the factors of how this trick works, I'm going to show you basically what's happening in the trick, just a quick overview. So what's happening is, yes, you have 2 cards here that are going to be face to face, and you're just kind of holding them like as a double here. And when you throw the cards through the portal, you're just cutting half the deck. All you're going to do is you're just going to flip them upside down really quickly by flicking the cards like so. And as you can see, my 2 cards, they're not taped together at all. They're completely normal cards. They're not rough and smooth cards or anything. They're just normal cards. But as you can see, they're pretty much staying completely squared up together. And I'll get into this a little bit later, but this is like the basic idea of how the trick actually works. So now that you know how the trick really works, I'm going to be telling you the different factors that you're going to need to experiment with in order for this trick to work for you. Because remember, this is going to be different for everybody, because everyone lives in different places, everyone has different houses and different places to practice on. So here are the different factors that go into making this trick look really good. So the first factor is the deck of cards that you're using. So my tip is you do not want to use a deck that is brand new, because the brand new cards are very like slippery and very like sliding around like this. So this deck that I'm using right here is pretty semi-used. It's not completely like clumped together cards. It's still a pretty smooth deck. It's definitely semi-used. Like the cards, they're not perfectly white anymore. And the cards will like stay together pretty well if I flick them like this. You guys can see the cards will stick together. Now, here's the second factor that I believe is the most important factor that makes this trick look good, is the surface of the table or whatever you're doing it on. The surface really, really makes this a hit or miss trick. First, it has to be pretty smooth. I think the worst place to do this trick on would be a carpet, like a rug carpet, because it has little, bunches of carpet everywhere, and the cards can get stuck, and that will make the cards split apart like this. And then the spectators are gonna notice that the cards are like split apart. So that's not good. The surface that I'm using it on right now, and the surface that I used in the performance, this is actually just like a leather piano bench, but it's really, really smooth. There's no areas that would cause the cards to like stop or anything, right? So they're just gonna keep on sliding if I flick them here, just like this. I've actually tried this trick on a card mat, on my old card mat, and it actually didn't really work that well, because the cards, when I flicked them, they would get kind of stuck whenever I did that, and that would cause the cards to split apart. So card mats are unfortunately not the best surface to use for this trick, so I would just recommend trying out different types of surfaces. But once you guys find the best one, you really just want a surface that will make the cards not split apart, and that will also make the cards just slide just a tiny bit. And once you guys can find that, that is like the perfect surface. Like right there, if that was just a perfect one, the cards are completely squared up. So those are like the two main factors that you want to look into while doing this trick. But the third factor is also just going to be the flicking motion of the cards. So how well you're actually flicking the cards to actually turn them over. So I'll get into that move right now. And then once I finish teaching this, then I'll get into the actual routine of the trick. So how you're going to flick the cards, first just get 2 random cards and hold them back to back like this, all right? So you're just gonna square them up and you're gonna hold them sideways like so. Now this is the grip that you're gonna wanna be in here. You're gonna wanna hold the middle ring and pinky finger on the top edge right here. The index finger is just gonna go sort of here on the face of the card towards the bottom half. So not near the top half, but towards the bottom half, closer to the thumb. And the thumb is just gonna be right here on the center of the bottom half of the card. All that's gonna happen is you're going to let go with the thumb. You're just gonna flick up with the thumb and kind of push down with the index finger, and then kind of let the cards roll off of the fingers. That's really all that's happening right there. So when you just practice this, just practice your finger placements. Like if it doesn't work at first, just kind of move your fingers around, try different places. But once you guys get it down, it should look something like this, all right? If it's still not working, try how hard you're flicking the cards. So you can try like barely flicking the cards. You can try really hard flicking the cards. You guys just have to experiment with how well this works for you. But this is basically how I do it here. Hold the fingers like this, and I just kind of do it at a medium strength, just pulling like that, and that will flick the cards pretty quickly, and it will make them stay together. So those are like the 3 main factors that go into this trick. So one more time, it's the deck of cards you're using. You want it to be a little bit semi-used so that they stick together. The second thing, the most important thing, is the surface that you're doing it on. You don't want to do it on a very rough surface. You want to do it on a smooth, slidey surface. And then the last thing you want to do, make sure you're flicking the cards really well, and make sure that you got this move down so that you don't even have to think about it really. So let's get into how the actual trick is done. So here's what's going to happen in the trick. So first, the spectator is going to go ahead and select any card. Let's just say they go ahead and select this card over here, the Jack of Spades, for example. All right, so now you are going to basically just be controlling this card any way you want to. Just make sure you control it to the top of the deck. So you can do this in any way that you want to. So a way that I think I did this in the performance, how I would do this is, actually, let's just say they select another card. Let's say this card over here, the King of Hearts. So what's going to happen is you're going to show the King of Hearts here, then you're going to square up the cards, and as you're squaring up the cards, you're going to place one card from the right hand spread on top, like so. Then you're going to catch a pinky break as you square up with the rest of the deck. And then at this point, you're just going to cut about half the cards onto the table, cut all the cards from the break onto the table, and then cut all the cards on the table again. And that will actually control the spectator's selection to be second from the top. And that's actually perfect because now you don't even really have to do anything. You can just show the bottom card and say, look, this isn't your card. And then you can show the top card and say, look, this also isn't your card. And then you're gonna show them this card. And as you're showing them the card, you're gonna push the top card off, pull it back, and catch a pinky break, just like so. When you're showing the spectator the card, this is what they see. So it's going to be completely covering the deck when you get that break. So they're not going to be able to see you doing that at all. Then what you're going to do is you're going to place this card back on top, face up, just like so. And now what's going to happen is you're going to get this card into the flicking grip that I taught you. So how you're going to do this is I just like to take my index finger from the top and move it to the side for a little bit more support. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingers here and kind of lift up those 2 cards at the same time. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to place the card into the flicking grip here, but I'm only going to place it a little bit towards like the right edge of the card. It's not fully centered yet. That's because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the card, grab the card here, and then just tap the deck with the card. Just a little bit, just to make sure my thumb is right there on the center of the card. So it should look something like this in full speed, just like that. So just one little tap should do it. And now the 2 cards are lined up and my thumb is centered and ready to flick the card. So now at this point, you're gonna need to place the deck on the table, and here's how you're gonna do that. You're gonna take your thumb, place it underneath the deck, and you're gonna lift up your thumb just like this, and it's gonna rotate the entire deck 180 degrees, all right? So you're gonna rotate the deck like so, and then you're gonna take your wrist and flip over your entire wrist as you set the deck down. Just make sure you set it down like horizontally, like this, all right? Just like that. One more time, just take your thumb, roll it like this so it flips the deck over, and then roll your wrist and that should flip the deck over just like so. So once the deck is on the table, you're gonna just slide it back a little bit because you want some room for the card to slide and shoot out. Then you're gonna cut about half the deck up just like so, and you're gonna move it forward and angle it down just a little bit. And this is only because you want to cover the cards being flipped from the spectator's point of view. Once you do this, you are going to take the card here, show it to them, and say 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna flick the card just like so. You're gonna do the flicking move, and it's gonna shoot through and flip over at the same time. Now the spectator's gonna completely freak out when they see this, and all you're praying for is just that the cards stay pretty squared up. It's okay if they're not as squared up as you want them to be, but it's okay because you're gonna do the cleanup move right now, and here's the cleanup move, which I think is really, really good. All you're gonna do is instantly, right after you flick the card, you're instantly gonna take your left hand with the packet and drop it on top of the 2 cards, not fully squared up, just about halfway like this. So you're gonna leave about half of the card sticking out. Just instantly smack this pack on top right here. Then you're gonna pick up everything, and now you're holding 2 cards right here, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the King of Hearts with your thumb, and your fingers here are just gonna push this King of Clubs back. It's gonna square up with the rest of the deck here. And what you can also do is take your pinky and place it over there so that when you slide the card back, with your fingers right here, you're just gonna be sliding that card back. Your pinky could like stop the card from going any further. So that's a reason why you could do that. Push that card down and then pull this card out and just kind of set it on the table, and then place this on top of the rest of the deck. And that is the cleanup. And then don't even touch that card for the rest of the trick. Just say, and look, show the cards here are normal. You can spread out the cards and say, oh no, really, you can check out your card. And they're gonna pick up their card thinking that there's a card on the back, but there is nothing, and it doesn't split apart or anything. Like, this is just one single card. So that's a really, really nice cleanup move that I like. So yeah, guys, that is the entire trick. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Just remember those 3 factors that I taught you. Just make sure you use a semi-used deck, a really nice low friction surface, and then also make sure you got the flicking move down so that you don't really have to even think about it during the performance. You just know it so well that you're 100% confident that you can do it every single time. So yeah, guys, that's really the entire tutorial for this trick. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you guys for my next video. Bye.